Today in our 2016 Ford F-150, we're going to be showing you how to install the Roadmaster Brake-Lite relay kit for towed vehicles. Part number is RM-88400. Now you'll see without our Brake-Lite relay in place, as we apply the brakes in the coach with the blinker on, it gets very, very dim and very hard to notice. That means that the brake lights in our truck are overriding the blinker signal that's coming from our coach. That's what our brake light relay is going to correct. Now with our brake light relay in place, we'll turn that blinker on and you'll see as we hit the brakes, they are not overridden. We still have that full, strong blinker signal, which is going to keep us both safe and legal. All right, now here's what the relay kit's going to look like as we spread it out. Here we're going to have our actual relay. Goes into a pre-wired pigtail here. And that's going to give us the wires we need to make our connection. Now to simplify it, white goes to ground, red's going to go to an ignition keyed source. Now if you have a turnkey style ignition, you can eliminate the blue wire and you're going to follow instruction set A. If you have a push to start type of ignition, then you'll eliminate the green wire and you'll follow instruction set B. Now we've got the turnkey style here we'll be working with today. So we're going to eliminate that blue wire, just snip it off, pretty simple. Now what this is going to allow us to do is put this in line in our brake switch. Our brake switch is on our brake pedal and it tells our brake lights when to come on. Now you saw the problem earlier. The truck's brakes are overriding the blinker from the motorhome and we want to eliminate that. So now by putting this in line on our brake switch, the signal from our brake switch is going to have to go through our relay. So it's going to come up and it wants to go out to the light. Now when our ignition is in the on position, it's going to be able to pass freely and it's going to work those brake lights. So you hit the brakes in the truck, the brake lights come on. When that ignition's off or when we have our F-150 in tow mode, it's going to stop the flow. As it stops the flow here in the relay, that's going to eliminate that problem we were having. Now to get power, we're going to tap into a fuse. Basically this is going to take place of the fuse. You'll put your original fuse there and our new 10 amp fuse. It's going to go in that top section. Really easy and convenient way to just get an additional power source off of that same fuse. Comes with butt connectors. It's also going to come with a ring terminal and a self-tapping screw so we can secure our ground. However, there is a stud located underneath the dashboard there that we're going to use. That way we can kind of eliminate drilling any extra holes. It's going to be a regular ring terminal, 3/8 inch diameter hole there. It's going to be able to put our bolt right through there and then thread it in. So we can eliminate these with that part. And to run our power, they give us a short length. The fuse panel on the F-150 though, it's going to be over in that passenger side floorboard. So we're going to need about 6 foot of 16 gauge wire. This is part number 16-1-1. You just want to get a quantity of 6. You'll have your 6 foot you'll need and that should be plenty. All right, now to get to that brake light switch, we're going to go in behind this panel. The switch is going to be located on the brake pedal up there pretty high and it's kind of difficult to get through that way, but we'll just go in the top side here. Basically just want to pull out on this panel and there are going to be a series of clips that hold it in place. Pop out on those, kind of tilt it down just a bit. And we see we've got a couple of bolts here. Before we pull those, let's get this wiring harness pulled off the back side here. It's going to be a little kind of Christmas tree fastener there. And a little slip-on fastener here. Get those popped off. And then we just push in the tabs and pull out the pigtails. We'll have 3 of them. All right. I'll just tuck those up out of the way for now. Let's pull off these 2 bolts. That's going to take this panel off, and also these 2 so we can take off that plate. On the back side there, we just squeeze those tabs together and those will slide out. All right. Now if we come up from our brake pedal, we've got this round plastic part here. We're going to go just up about 10 o'clock from there. Got our brake light switch. Got 4 wires coming out. Now our sources say it's going to be the purple and white wire, but we want to verify that. To verify that, we'll use a test light. We go to our ground source. We just want to gently probe our wire there. So when we hit our brake pedal now, that activates. As we release it, it turns off. So we'll know that's going to be the right wire. Before we get into cutting or splicing this though, let's get the brake fuse removed. Now to get to that fuse, we're going to pull the cover off. This is the passenger side kick panel. So the passenger side floorboard over on the side. Little lip right there. Just pull out on that. Remove our panel. Now as we come in here, we need to pull fuse number 14, which is attached to fuse number 15. It's going to be a red 10 amp triple fuse. Pull that out. Now with that fuse out, there's some fabric tape around the wire loom here. Let's get that peeled back. All right, now just pull that loom back, and that'll give us enough wire to work with there. Remember, we're using our purple and white wire here. Give that wire a snip. We want to be a couple inches away from the brake light switch. And then we need to strip back both sides of it. We're going to go about twice as long as what you normally would strip one back, because we're going to double our wire up. I give that a good twist to make sure all of our wires stay together. We're going to double that over, just like that. And the same thing for our other side here. Like that. Now to each end of that, we can add one of our blue butt connectors. Now our relay kit, you can see it's pre-stripped, so pull that off, twist it up, and we'll need to trim some of that back. It's just going to be too long for the connector. Now the green wire, like we talked about, that's going to be connected to the side closest to the brake light switch here. Now the black side goes to the other butt connector. Now our white wire we've got here, I'm going to double that back as well. Add on that larger ring terminal we told you about. Now to ground that out, we're going to pull out the bolt that's located right here, just to the outside of the parking brake. Uses a 10mm socket, and if you push your parking brake down, you can get a longer stroke. What I'm going to do is take my relay and just get it pre-positioned up here in the kind of this open area, and I want my ground wire to go up and over that bracket, and it can come right down through the middle. I just push that stud right through that ring terminal. Now we can just place that bolt through that ring terminal, and also this happens to be the spot we grounded out the reed switch for our braking system as well. Just make sure we get that back on there, and we can secure that back down. Alright, that gives us the idea of where we can mount our relay. You can see there's this wire loom right here. It's got a keeper right in front of it, so that's going to be an excellent location for us to take care of that. Now before we have it firmly mounted up there, it's a good idea to get our other wire attached here. It's going to be that additional 16 gauge wire that we're adding in. And again, we can just use one of our butt connectors for that. Now this we're going to be running over to the passenger side kick panel, so we'll just make sure we keep our slack over this direction. We can route that wherever we want with the help of a couple zip ties. There were 4 small ones in the kit. I'm using ones that are about twice as long as that. Just get these wires bundled up, kind of get them a little bit nicer looking, and then we'll zip tie that up and off to something solid like that wire loom. Put that right through the tab on the relay, right around that loom. All right, I should keep that up and out of the way. Now to pass this from the inside here to the outside underneath the hood, I'm going to add on a little piece of airline tubing. You could also use a coat hanger or any kind of stiffer piece of wire. Just want to get it connected. This is going to help us to push this wire through the grommet. It'd be almost impossible to do it without something a little bit stiffer than the wire itself. You see our grommet's going to be located right here. There's a hole kind of in the 130-ish position. That's where we'll pass through. We've already got an air line and another wire from our braking system that we've previously passed through, so we won't have to cut it. But if you just make like an X-shaped cut in both sides, then you can pass your wires through there without any issues. And once we've got that pushed through a good ways, we can go to the outside, pull it on through. All right, now with my wire in the engine compartment here, I'm going to go over behind the brake booster there. Then I'm going to tuck it right up behind this panel that runs across. I'm going to come right down behind that. And that'll get me right here to my fuse box. Now there's a little lever on the front. Just push back on that. You can lift straight up. We're going to be using this number 10 fuse in the top. It'll be the 1, 2, 3rd fuse down from the relay bundle there. It's going to be a 10 amp. Take about the length we're going to need there. We'll strip the end of that wire back and add it into the fuse holder. And we can pull out the fuse we're going to use. That one will go in the bottom slot. It doesn't matter too much, so the same amperage here. Slide our new fuse in right above that. And then that'll just slide right back in that spot. Just route our wire right back out of that fuse panel. Now on our cover here, where our wire passes through, we want to just relieve a small area there. It'll be able to pass through there without being pinched. And we can slide our cover back on. Now that connection made, we'll slide our brake fuse back into position and we'll get that tested out. Don't forget to put your panel back in. Now to test out the relay kit, we just simply want to turn the keys on in the truck into the on position. Place our foot on the brake. You see our lights come on. Then when we turn that ignition off, they're going to go off. That's going to indicate that we've done our job properly. Now we can get our dashboard reinstalled. All right, we're in good shape. Now with everything working properly, that's going to complete our installation of the Roadmaster Brake-Lite Relay Kit for towed vehicles. Part number RM-88400 on our 2016 Ford F-150.
Click the link below to shop, learn more, or visit us at etrailer.com.